So, first of all, a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for coming for this class. And as you would have seen on the Facebook, I had advertised an event, and the topic for today is going to be how to manage stress levels during this pandemic. You know, many people have lost their lives. Many are still fighting this coronavirus. Many have lost loved ones, family, friends, relatives. And we see that a lot of patients are still suffering difficulty in breathing. And I'm not sure if you all have heard about the condition in India, which is really bad right now. Shortage of oxygen cylinders. Family members feel helpless. And, they are seeing their loved ones suffering, which is great suffering. So the question arises, how can we remain calm and free from stress in such a situation? Even for people like us who have not been affected by coronavirus so far, but just to see others suffer, it's painful. And, it's not easy to remain stress free in this situation, but there is a possibility. And for that, we definitely need knowledge. We need to understand what are the different kinds of miseries in this world, and then we learn to deal with them with the help of knowledge and come to a stage where we are not so affected. And not only that, we can stay peaceful and calm in any situation. So we have this book of knowledge called the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Bhagavad means Bhagavan, God, and Gita means song. By the way, my name is also Gita, which means a song. But this is a song of God. It was spoken by the Lord Himself. He re-spoke it about 5,000 years ago. So this book of knowledge, which is also called Science of Self-Realization, explains to us that there are 7 kinds of miseries. So, what are those? Birth, disease, old age, death, miseries caused by our body and mind, miseries caused by other living entities, and miseries caused by the material nature. Now, the misery that we are facing right now is misery caused by another living entity, because the virus also is a living virus. So when we understand that there are these different kinds of miseries, then we need to find a solution for them. Now we have seen that birth is painful. Why is it the child comes out crying and not laughing while coming out? Because it's coming out from a miserable situation. Imagine, sitting all crouched up for 9 months inside that womb, no place to move, have no independence, cannot do what the child wants to do, etc. So birth is painful, it's a misery. Similarly, disease is, old age is, ask me, old age is a misery because the different parts of the body, start giving trouble. And we don't even have what you call a spare shop, where we can just go, like if there's something wrong with a car, we just go to the mechanic, the car shop, and just replace that part. But that's not possible with this physical body. So, and death also is very painful according to the Vedic scriptures. So now, this book of knowledge, which is called the Bhagavad Gita, gives us solutions how to overcome these miseries. Not only that, how to become peaceful. Now, today, we actually go through this Bhagavad Gita chapter by chapter. There are 18 chapters, and we are uh, almost through the whole book. We are in the 15th chapter, verse 15, where the Lord says that I am situated in everyone's heart. And He says, from me comes remembrance, forgetfulness, and knowledge. So we all know that sometimes when we are doing something wrong, something from within tells us this is wrong, this is not right. Who is that someone? That is the Supreme Lord who's situated in our hearts as the Super Soul, and He is there to guide us, to help us, to show us the right way, right? But He is there to do what we want. If we choose to remember Him, He will give us the opportunity. If we choose to forget Him, He'll say, well, that's your choice. He's not going to interfere. And similarly, if we have the desire to get some knowledge, how to deal with these miseries, what is the solution? I am not peaceful. I want to be peaceful. I want to be calm. I don't want stress. I don't like stress. I don't think anyone likes stress. So we choose what we want. So, because all of you had that desire to get some knowledge, that is why you are here today, and you are open to hearing what this book of knowledge has to say. Now, in this book, Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Krishna says that those who are born are sure to die, and after death, one is sure to be born again. Now, the question will be, all those people who died with COVID 19, with this coronavirus, did they die because of COVID 19? No, COVID 19 was just an excuse. Just like there are so many deaths happening even without the COVID 19. There could be accidents, there could be injuries, there could be just old age, dying due to old age. It could be any other disease, anything. So, all these are just a medium for death. So, it's important to understand that we all, based on our past actions, have got this particular body and have a particular time to live on this planet Earth. And that is called appointment with death, which is already fixed. That cannot be changed. So, COVID 19 is just probably a reason for some of them. And if we, venture out to see the astrological chart for such people who died because of COVID 19, we will see that that was their time of passing away. So, this is just a reason for them to die. So, but that doesn't mean we should not take care. We still have to take care of this body. This body has been given to us as a gift by the Lord. And along with this body, He has given us philosophical intelligence to try and understand, who am I? Where have I come from? And the most important question is, why am I suffering? That is the question. Why am I suffering? And more intelligent question would be, how do I come out of this cycle of misery, of this suffering? How do I not face the misery? So, since we have this very rare human form, very important human form, we do need to take care of it. In fact, even in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that we must maintain our body and soul together, which means there is a difference between body and soul, right? So, but it's important to understand that to maintain this body, especially in this situation of COVID 19, we must take the precautions, wear a mask, keep social distancing, wash our hands, avoid large gatherings. So, all this is common sense. So, when we take precautions, then we can take care of this body also. Now, more important than that is to understand how karma works. I'm sure all of you have heard about karma, right? So, based on our past karma, we have X number of years to live, and every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So, if we do good, there will be good reactions, and obviously, if we do bad, there are going to be bad reactions. Just like, let me give you an example that when I'm driving on the road, there are traffic rules, and if I break the traffic rules, so I decide, well, today I feel like driving through the red light. And I'm going to wait at the traffic light when it is green. It's not going to work that way. If I do not follow the traffic laws, or if I speed, then the reaction is getting a ticket. So every action has a reaction, and the Lord is not responsible for our actions. That's important to understand. We are the ones who are deciding what kind of action to perform. And in this book of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has dedicated 2 chapters to explain to us how karma works: good actions, bad actions. And he explains how we have, being his part, being his children, we have what we call minute independence. That minute independence is given to us so that we can make better choices. It's like my son, I let him go in the backyard to play, but it is fenced. So that is karma. Karma is like we have a fencing around us and we have to operate within that fence itself. But then in that particular area or in our circle of karma, how do we act? Now, my child can be destructive, or he can, enjoy and play around in a good way so he doesn't harm himself. So his actions will decide his reaction. So when we have this minute independence, unfortunately, most people misuse this minute independence. So this knowledge from this Bhagavad Gita, it gives us all the knowledge about how this body is a very complicated machinery. How does it work? What is it that needs to go inside the body, right? Just like if my car doesn't work on diesel, and if I go to the gas station and I'm going to put diesel in my car is not going to work. Excuse me. So similarly, there are certain laws of the Supreme Lord that we need to follow. When we do not follow that, then the misery strikes us. So this knowledge gives us information. It actually tells us how to lead a human form of life in the right way. Just like a child is informed, that please do not put your finger in the fire, it will get burnt. That is knowledge. But now it's up to the child to decide, do I want to try it? Let me put my finger in there and see if it's going to burn. That's up to the freedom of choice. So here, Bhagavad Gita is showing us the way how to lead a human form of life. And then whatever decisions we make, whatever choices we make, we need to face our reactions. More importantly, we need to change our focus. Right now, our focus is on the material body, but we need to, instead of being conscious only of the body, we need to change the focus to soul consciousness. We need to become conscious of the soul that we really are. The body is just covering the soul. So right now, excuse me, right now, we are only thinking about the body, how to dress the body, how to feed the body, how to enjoy the senses. And that is not bad, but we have forgotten the soul. It's like I buy a bird for my child. My son is 8 years old. I buy him a bird which is in a beautiful golden cage. And the child, my son, is just polishing the cage and forgets to feed the bird. What is going to happen? The bird is going to get weaker and weaker and weaker and then finally gone. So this body is like a cage which we are polishing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we need to feed the soul also. How do we feed the soul? We feed the soul with the knowledge, especially of the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita. So in this particular pandemic situation that we are in, to become stress-free, it's important to take on the knowledge. Actually, the soul is very peaceful by nature. Peaceful doesn't mean it's very quiet or anything. No, it means it is because it's part of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is joyful. The soul also is joyful and peaceful. But right now, the body is just running after enjoying. I want to enjoy this. I want to eat this. I want to enjoy this sense, or go here or go there or whatever. Or the mind is getting agitated with everything that's going on, watching TV, or social media, everything. So everything is like without any regulation. Just like my son, he is very particular about my grandson, on his internet time, on his screen time. It's like 1 hour a day max, and maybe 2 hours over the weekend. Because if that discipline is not there, if that regulation is not there, then the child can really, can maybe be on screen time for 8, 10 hours or whatever, right? So regulation is important. Similarly, regulation of the body is important, regulation of the senses is important. And soul is not only joyful and peaceful, but it's very powerful. What is the difference between a dead body and a live body? The only difference is that the live body has consciousness, and that consciousness comes from the spirit soul. And guess what is the size of that spirit soul? The Bhagavad Gita explains to us. It says the size of the spirit soul. It's in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Also, Upanishads are there, Puranas and Vedas. So there it says Balagra Shatabhagasya, that the soul is 1/10,000th of the tip of the hair. So that means you take the tip of the hair and cut it into 10,000 pieces. That one piece is the size of the spirit soul. So even though it's so tiny, we cannot even see it through the microscope, but still it gives energy to the whole body, the consciousness. That is the symptom of the soul. So right now we have forgotten the soul, and we are only concentrating on the body. And the body includes the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego. That's the subtle body, and what we see is the gross body. So when we forget our true nature, then what happens? We work on the level of the mind. We just listen to the mind, and if the mind is not regulated, then our actions are also not regulated. See, this virus, coronavirus, is genuine, but it is the fear of this virus that is also contributing towards the death. I'll give you an incident that happened a long time ago. I'll relate that incident where there was this, the big trucks that are there, which have, a freezer, huge freezers in them, to carry, cold storage stuff, all the maybe whatever groceries or whatever, they are stored in there and carried from one place to another and delivered. So it so happened that this truck with the freezer was parked on the side of the road, and there was this person who just was watching, and then he just happened to go inside to see what all is inside the freezer, and at that time the door closed. And when the door closed, this man, he really got very scared. He was fearful. Oh, what's happening? I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Because if no one opens the door, I'll be frozen to death inside. And after maybe 2 or 3 hours, the door was opened by, the driver or whoever. The door was open and they found this person was dead. So this driver was surprised when the doctor came and, said, declared him dead. This driver said, but I am shocked. How did he die? Why did he die? So the doctor said, because he was in the freezer. The driver said, no, but the freezer was not working. It wasn't cold. The freezer was not working. But see, the person who died was all the time thinking, he didn't know that the freezer is not working, but just his mind said, you are in the freezer, you are going to die. So 50% may be the disease and 50% is the fear. We need to understand the power of the soul, the power of the mind. That is why Bhagavad Gita tells us we need to control the mind, we need to regulate it. And Bhagavad Gita gives us knowledge about real us, who we really are. And the soul is not only joyful and peaceful and powerful, it is also very stable by nature. It's very, very stable, very calm. But it is just because of the body consciousness, always thinking about the body, 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 we have forgotten the soul, and then we have forgotten the power of the spirit soul. So it's the foundation of this book is to first of all understand the difference between body and soul. So we get this knowledge, and those who live with the knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita, they are free of stress. There is no point in crying over the past. We cannot change the past. Many people live in the past in the sense, keep worrying, keep worrying. Oh, this one said this to me, this one did that to me, etc., etc. And most people also worry about the future. And in the process, we forget to live in the present, right? We forget that. So it's if once and for all we understand that I am that spirit soul which is so powerful, which is giving consciousness and life to my whole body. Do you know this Harry Monson? He had a great scientist. He had said that the um, the value of the body after the soul has left the body, the value is only $5.60. So we need to try and understand the difference between body and the soul. In chapter 2 of this Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord says that there is no death for the soul. The soul is eternal, it never dies, it just changes body, right? As the embodied soul, embodied by the body, continuously passes from boyhood to youth to old age, similarly, the soul passes on to another body at the time of death. And a sober person is not bewildered by such a change, because a sober person means one who has the knowledge is not disturbed by such a change. So when we understand I am not this body, then we become fearless, because then we know I am eternal, I am not going to die. It is just the change of the body. So during this pandemic, it's important that we have faith in the Supreme Lord. Yeah, we have to have firm faith, and that faith comes, the scriptures tell us that first we have basic faith that there is God, and then we need to associate with like-minded people, associate with those who want knowledge, who want to know who am I really, why am I here, and why am I suffering. So when we associate with such people, when we start taking on this knowledge, then we start removing all the unwanted things from the heart, right? Everything we know happens by the will of the Supreme Lord. Not even a blade of grass can move without the sanction of the Lord, right? Just like, so faith is of course very important. Faith in is important in everything in our life, right? When we choose a spouse, we have faith in that spouse. That is why we get married. We have faith in the teacher or the school. That is where we send our children for education. We have faith. Say for instance, I want to fly from Atlanta to say Mauritius. What do? I have faith in the bona fide travel agent, or I must have faith in the airline, bona fide airline, right? It may be Singapore Airlines or whichever airline. Because they are bona fide, they are authorized. When I buy a ticket from that airline, I am sure to reach my destination, provided I catch the right flight. But when I sit in the flight and I'm, all worried and fearful, oh, I'm not sure if the pilot knows his job. I wonder if the pilot is going to fall asleep. Uh, I wonder if the pilot knows. the way to my destination, etc., etc., etc. Worrying about all that is not going to help. I have to have that basic faith. So, similarly, we need to have faith in the Supreme Lord and understand that everything that is happening is by the will of the Supreme Lord. So, this Bhagavad Gita is giving us bona fide knowledge. It is explaining to us how we can live this human form of life. Most of us, we've tried very hard, to be happy, to be successful, and many people, are unsuccessful, they fail. So why not leave do our duty and leave the result to the Supreme Lord, right? Take shelter of him, take shelter of his knowledge. Now in India, we drive on the left side of the road, but when I came to Atlanta, I noticed we drive on the right side of the road. Now I need to have knowledge. How are the traffic rules working? What are the laws of the state? I need to know. I need to have knowledge. I cannot start driving on the left side of the road and expect nothing to happen, everything to be fine. No, knowledge is very, very important. So similarly, we must take shelter of the knowledge and try and understand that, it doesn't matter how rich we are, it doesn't matter how beautiful or famous we are, it doesn't matter what our bank balance is, it doesn't matter at all. Nothing can save us except we ourselves. We can save ourselves with the help of the Lord. So need to value the human form of life. Human form of life is very rare. We need to value it before it's too late. No point repenting afterwards, right? We have the opportunity now, and I'm very grateful to all of you for joining today to take on this knowledge and contemplate on it. You don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it. Just think about it, think about it and see, if I take on more knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita, is it going to make me fearless? Is it going to make me satisfied and happy, right? So, trying to satisfy just the senses is not sufficient. That is not going to give us happiness. The permanent happiness is when we realize our own selves. That is called self realization. And there is a process for that. Just like there is a process for everything in life, for this also, if we want to be happy, we need to look at the right place. And that is how we will be able to become permanently happy. We also need to understand, why are we suffering, right? The scriptures tell us that this material world is dukhalayam ashashvatam. That means it is a place of misery and it is temporary. Now, when we have this knowledge, when it says this is a place of misery, how can we look for happiness? Now, then you may say, oh, you are being very pessimistic. This is what the Bhagavad Gita explains to us, that if we change our consciousness, move it from the body to the soul, become soul conscious, and then become God conscious, then we will not suffer. That is what the Bhagavad Gita is trying to explain to us, how we can lead a stress-free life. And one of the easy methods of stress-free life is meditation. Meditation is very, very important. What happens when we meditate? There is some calmness, there is some peace, and there is some satisfaction. And for just like when we have a disease, we go to the doctor and the doctor will give a prescription, right? And when we take on that prescription medicine, then gradually that disease is removed from the body. So similarly, for this time period that we are in this material world, there is a prescription for meditation. And what is that prescription of meditation? Is called mantra meditation. What does mantra mean? Man means the mind, and tra means to free the mind. Free the mind of what? To free the mind of anxiety. We all are anxious in this world, especially now during this time of pandemic. We are so much anxious. Oh, we want to take care of our children so that they don't catch the virus. We want to take care of the family and the friends, neighbors. We want to protect, right? So this anxiety can be removed with meditation, because in this age the sound vibrations are what can make us peaceful. The sound vibrations, they enter through the ear and they go straight to the heart and they purify the heart. Then the purification of the heart takes place. Now, one may say, what do you mean purification? My heart is pure. There is nothing impure in my heart. Probably so, but most people have a lot of impurities in the heart, like lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. There's so much inside the heart, right? So, how do we remove all that? The mantra meditation helps us to remove that. Just like, I have a mirror and I want to see my face in that, you know. Maybe I think I'm very beautiful and I want to see myself. I need to see. But the mirror is covered by dust. Will I be able to see myself clearly? No. I need to remove that dust from that mirror. And that removal of the dust is what is similar to removal of impurities from the heart. So that cleansing of that mirror or cleansing of the heart takes place by mantra meditation. When we chant and we chant and chant, those sound vibrations are very potent, they're very powerful, very, very powerful. And just like there is a prescription for each disease, similarly, the prescription for the disease right now is chanting the Maha mantra. Maha means the topmost, the greatest, right? There's nothing above that. That is the prescription for us for now, for this age. And that mantra, Maha mantra, is Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's like a multivitamin tablet, right? If my doctor says you have to take calcium, you have to take vitamin D, and you have to take B12, etc., etc. But if I take a multivitamin, everything is included in that, right? Then I don't have to take separately all those different tablets. It's easy to just pop one pill a day, which is multivitamin. So similarly, there are many mantras given in the scriptures, in the Vedas, in different religious books. Lots and lots are given. But for this age, the Lord says it is the Maha Mantra that can remove the dirt. And then there will be realization. So we take on knowledge on a regular basis, try and understand. There are 5 subject matters of the Bhagavad Gita, which are explained through 18 chapters, 700 verses. And it's a beautiful journey that, helps us to understand what's going on in this world, to understand the diseases that are there, to understand the sufferings, and to understand how to rise above all this. And once we learn that, then we can help others to rise above that. This is how we will be able to manage, you know, the level of our stress in this time of pandemic. And I really, really hope and pray that we cross through this period very quickly so that everyone is again healthy and happy. So today's topic was how to reduce the stress. And I was wanting to know if I can you know I can open it for questions if anyone has any questions. If anyone would like to ask a question or have a comment. Yes, Sushma, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Gita ji. Very
Yes.
nice lecture. Thank you so much. I have
Thank
a
you.
question.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, Gita ji. So I have a question. I know